Hey guys, welcome to my channel. As you can see the thumbnail, what if Issei trained by the Great Red Part 4. Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe to my channel. Without wasting any time, let's start it. It was the day after and Yuto was still nowhere to be found. Kaneko was getting worried and Middlet saw that. Middlet wanted to help but didn't know what to do. During break she came up with an idea to help but needed the help of another. After school Middlet along with Rainier and Kaneko met at an outdoor cafe to talk about helping both Yuto and the followers of the church. They agreed the best thing to do was to make a deal where after they retrieved the swords Yuto get to destroy one. The first was to find the two exorcists and have them agree. They were about to leave when Kaneko grabbed someone from behind a wall. It was Genchuru Saji Pawn of Sona Citri. "What are you doing here?" Kaneko asked. "Kaicho gave us instructions to keep an eye on any members of Issei Hyudu or Rias Gremory to make sure no one does anything stupid," he told them. "Well, we can't have you report back, not until we've come to an understanding," Middlet told him. "I can't believe you girls, that idea is insane and we won't even find them. Those two can be anywhere in the city. Where do you suggest we look first?" Saji was complaining as he walked alongside the girls through the city. He tried to run away but every time Kaneko grabbed him and dragged him along. "Kaneko, this is your group's problem. I've read the report that Issei Hyudu father served the Gremory family. I belong to the Citri family, please let me go." "Kaneko, your master is strict but kind. You too. I don't know what kind of master Issei Hyudu is but he seems very protective. But Kaicho is only strict. I can't even imagine my punishment if she finds out," Saji begged them. "Don't be like that. If this succeed it will be more points to the one you like," Rainier told him. Saji gained a new sense of confidence when he heard that. He remembered what Issei told him about dragons. They walked for a few more minutes going in the direction of the church, but found them at a corner asking people to give them money in the name of God. "How can this be? This is why I don't like countries that don't believe in our God," Zenobia told them in a depressed tone. "Don't say that, Zenobia. We lost all the money we had, so we have to rely on the charity from these heretics or else we can't get food," Irina replied. "And whose fault is it? We're in this situation because you bought that fake painting," Zenobia shouted to Irina while pointing at a painting of a badly drawn saint.
Now arguing with Zenobia about the authenticity of the saint in the picture. Everyone at the table could tell it was a fake and wondered why Irina paid for a fake picture. After everyone finished eating they started their discussion. "We sold our souls to devils, even if it's to accomplish our mission it's wrong. Please God forgive our weakness and bless these devils," Irina said out loud.
The prayer caused the devils a slight headache. To keep their cover Middlet and Rainier held their heads as well. They were following Issei's orders to hide their angel abilities as much as possible.
"Look, we might be part fallen angels but we're still part devils, so please stop the prayers," Rainier told them in a pleading voice. "Yay, keep your prayers to yourselves, that hurts you know," Saji berated. "So what do you devils wanted to talk about?" Zenobia asked. "We wanted to help you destroy the Excaliburs, and allow Yuto to destroy one himself," Middlet told her. Everyone was waiting for their reply. Saji was hoping to get a no so he could return to Sona, but the answer they got surprised them. "Yeah, maybe it's okay leaving one sword to you guys, if you can destroy that is, but make sure your identities aren't revealed. We also don't want our superiors and our enemies to think we are connected to you guys," Zenobia told them. "Hey Zenobia, are you sure? Even if I know Eyes and they know him as well they're still devils, you know," Irina responded to what she said. "Irina, to tell the truth it would really be tough for the both of us to retrieve the Excaliburs and fight Kokabiel. I already knew that but our main objective is to retrieve or destroy the Excaliburs, and we were advised to destroy our Excaliburs to prevent them from being stolen. Even if we use the last resort our chances of succeeding and return home is only 30%. Even so we came here prepared to put our life on the line. Isn't that what we followers of God desire for? Yeah, I changed my mind. My beliefs are flexible so I can act in the best way and I'm not into self-sacrifice. I knew your faith was weird. I won't deny that but I think it's our duty to accomplish our mission and return home safely. You're not wrong but we can't ask devils or fallen for help, we'll be betraying our beliefs," Irina stated. "You're right, we can't ask devils or fallen for help so they can't help us in the end," Zenobia admitted. Everyone at the table watched as the two exorcists argued with each other and came to the conclusion that even if they wanted to help they couldn't. Saji was happy when he heard that. He was about to get up and leave but was pulled back down by Kaneko when Rainier started talking. How about the help of a dragon? Rainier asked them. What do you mean? Zenobia asked. Well, Saji's sacred gear is piece of Vitra the evil dragon, and we members of Issei's peerage were given dragon abilities, so you'll be asking dragons for help, not devils, Rainier replied. Our superiors didn't say we couldn't ask dragons for help, so that does increase our chances of survival, Zenobia stated, holding her chin in thought. Well, since Eyes is part dragon, we should ask him for help as well, Irina with glee in her voice. No, both Rainier and Middle shouted. I mean, we don't want to trouble him until we find their location, Rainier them. Yes, we find the location and strike. I see no objections to this, do you, Irina? Zenobia said out loud. No, but it would be nice to be with Eyes, Irina told them while pouting. After they came to an agreement, Kaneko called Yuto and told him the plan. He met up with them at the family restaurant. Honestly, I feel unsatisfied when the wielders of Excaliburs are giving me the permission to destroy one of their swords, Yuto told them after sipping some coffee. That's a rough way to speak. If you were a stray, I would cut you down without any time to spare, Zenobia told him. Yuto and Zenobia glared at each other. Both of them had their guard up, ready to strike at a moment's notice. So you hold a grudge regarding the Holy Sword project, against the church in the Excaliburs? Irina asked him. Obviously, he spat out, turning his glare towards Irina. But thanks to the research it created, people like me and Zenobia can synchronize with the Excaliburs. Do you think because you and others can wield those swords I'll forgive the act of killing the test subject that were deemed a failure? That incident also became one of the biggest black stain in the history of our religion, and a lot of people are disgusted at it, and we found out that the priest in charge of the project has allied with Kokabiel, and if we caught him we are to bring him back and charge him for his crimes, Zenobia told Yuto. What is the name of the priest? Yuto asked. He was labeled the Archbishop of Genocide, Balba Galilei, Zenobia told him. So if we go after Kokabiel, I can reach him, Yuto said with a grin. Then I also have information for you as well. The other day I was attacked by a person who had an Excalibur. At the time he killed a priest, probably one of your priests sent here. The name of his killer is Fried Selzen, Yuto informed them. Rainier and Middle shook a little at the mention of Fried's name. Back in town, we thought he left for good when Eyes rescued us, Middle spoke shakily. Fried Selzen, former exorcist of the Vatican. The genius who became an exorcist at the age of 13. He had lots of big achievements because he kept on eliminating devils and mystical beasts, but he overdid it. He even killed his own allies. He never had any beliefs towards our god. He just wanted to kill monsters, and he became a battle maniac and was charged with heresy, Zenobia told them. So Fried used a stolen Excalibur to kill our fellow followers, for us to pay the price because the disposal group couldn't take him down, Zenobia cursed under her breath. Anyways, let's talk about our cooperation strategy. Let's use the church as our starting point, Irina suggested. It has some priest clothes. Since Fried is hunting priest, we should dress as priest and walk around town, Rainier told them. Yes, lure him out, then force the hideout from him, Zenobia declared. Old school clubroom. Issei was waiting for Rias so they could go home and have her speak to his parents. Asia, do you know where Rainier and Middle are? Issei asked his bishop. They told me that they'll take Kaneko out cause she looked sad with Yuto not around. I see, so that's the excuse they're using, he said smiling. Why do you think they're doing something else? Rias asked. Issei was about to answer but was interrupted when Sona entered the room with Tsubaki. Rias, there is something we must discuss, Sona told her friend. Okay, what is it? Not here, in private at my house. Sorry Eyes, I'll be back when I'm done, she told him. It's okay, we'll wait here, he told her. After that Sona and Rias teleported out of the room with their queens. Issei sat in the room along with Kalawarner and Asia with a smile on his face. Kala, can you go home with Asia? I'm thinking it's gonna be a long night, he told them. At first they didn't want to go, but in the end they left and Issei laid on the couch as he waited for Rias to return. Outside the church, Irina, Zenobia along with Rainier, Middle, Saji, Yuto and Kaneko were all dressed as priest and were ready to walk around town. Before we go we should exchange each other's numbers, so if we make contact we can call each other for backup, Irina suggested. Zenobia and Irina went on their own as so did the devils. Why am I even here? Saji complained. Imagine how happy your master will be to know you prevented her friend servant from becoming a stray so she didn't have to give a kill order, Rainier told him. Even though he would do anything to impress his master, Saji still didn't want to be involved. Senpai, Kaneko started, I would get lonely if you disappeared. I will help you, so please don't go, she hugged after telling him what was on her mind. Kaneko, since you put it that way, I'm not gonna go anywhere and we'll destroy those Excaliburs, Yuto replied with a smile. Please, I'm totally uninvolved, let me return to Kaichu, plus how is Kiba related to the Excaliburs, Saji whined. That's right. Since all of you are willing to help me, I should tell you about it. Yuto then proceeded to tell them about the Holy Sword Project, about the inhuman experiments on him and the other children, about the dreams they had in the day when they were to be terminated, and most of all how some of his friends helped him escape. I want to accomplish my comrades' regrets. I don't want their deaths be in vain. I need to keep on living for them and prove that I am stronger than Excalibur, Yuto told his group. It must have been horrible for you. Saji started to tell him with tears in his eyes, to think you went through something so painful. I can only imagine and see why you hold a grudge. Honestly, I didn't like you before because you were a good-looking guy, but now I'm willing to receive the punishment from Kaichu. But first let's destroy the Excalibur so you can return to your master. Everyone was looking at Saji as he continued to ramble on. I also have a dream. I want to make Kaichu my bride and give her children, but I'm not popular, so I will work for her affections, he told them with pride in his voice. You are the worst, Kaneko told him. They continued to walk and was about to split up when out of nowhere they all looked up as they felt a chill. The same chill they felt from the Excaliburs. They saw a white-haired man coming straight at them with a long sword. They all evaded the sword and was currently facing their attacker and threw away their disguises. I came to deliver more priests to the gates of heaven but ran into cosplaying devils. Oh, what a wonderful night, he said manically. Yuto immediately created a demon sword and started to attack him but was blocked on every approach. Be careful, that's Fried Selzen, the one who was there during our imprisonment, Rainier shouted. Fried jumped back when he heard Rainier call his name. I see, I wanted to sleep with you girls when you were in chains, but that meanie Donna Seek wouldn't let me, so I'll have my way with your body even if you're dead, he told them. Fried went straight to Rainier, who blocked his attack with a light spear and held her ground. Middle saw her ally in trouble and threw her golden light spear at Fried. Fried jumped back out the way and stood there as he saw was surrounded. I'm outnumbered, time to run away, Fried started yelling, then took off with speed similar to a devil's knight's. Everyone started to give chase with Yuto leading them with anger in his eyes. Sea-Tree residence. Sona along with Rias was in what appeared to be an underground bathhouse within Sona's house. How long has it been since I enjoyed the baths of the Sea-Tree house, Rias stated. It has been some time, I think it was before we entered this town, Sona replied. So what is it you called me here for? I'm sure it's not to enjoy a bath together. If that's the case, we should have brought eyes. Rias, I know you have feeling for him, but have he told you everything? No, he's still a bit reserved. I see. Let's get back on topic. To make sure you didn't get involved, I asked my servants to keep an eye on you and your servants. I know you have your reasons since you also know of Yuto's past, but I don't appreciate that. I know you wouldn't, but one of my servant failed to report in. Who was it? Saji. When he checked in, he was following Kaneko and Issei Hyodo, two servants, Rainier and Middled. Most likely Kaneko caught him and forced him to tag along. Do you think that Eyes knows? Is that why you didn't want to speak with him around? Yes, at first, but based on Saji's last report I have my doubts, but I still don't trust him. You don't trust him just because you don't know everything about him, or is it something else? Anyways, what are your plans with the recent developments in our area? We need to send in a report. We'll wait and act after we receive the information we requested. After Rias said that Akeno and Tsubaki appeared in front of their kings via magic circle to give their report. We have received the information from the Gremory, Akeno started. Yes, they have informed us that Kokabiel actions are his own and no way are they involved in this, and they have cut ties with him and those associated with him and his plans, Tsubaki finished. Thank you ladies, meet us in the clubroom, we'll get Issei and retrieve our lost members, Rias informed them. Sona also nodded in agreement. Akeno and Tsubaki bowed as the magic circle disappeared.
Outskirts of town. They chased Fried to the outskirts of Ku to the abandoned warehouse where Rias took Issei to kill a stray. Fried stood in front building holding a sword in his hand waiting for the devils to arrive.
When they caught up to Fried, he was just standing there. You caught up, and I was running super fast thanks to this Excalibur rapidly, he told them pointing his sword towards them. I see, that's why you were moving faster than a devil's knight, Yuto sneered at him. Rainier and Middle started throwing light spears at him, but he was dodging them as he used Excalibur to move around. Yuto got in close in an attempt to slow him down, but that proved fruitless, even with Kaniko's help by throwing random objects she found laying around her. "This is useless, we need him to stop moving," Kaniko said in a monotone voice. "I can help with that," Saji told her. "Stretch my line." His sacred gear appeared on his hand and what seemed like a tongue came from its mouth and went straight for Freed's leg. "What the hell is this shit?" Freed yelled as he tried to knock it away with his holy sword, but the tongue changed its direction and traveled low to the ground and found its target. Freed tried to cut it off his leg, but it was no use. "No use trying, you can't cut it that easily. Kiba, I've got him, he can't move, you can attack him," Saji yelled. "Thank you." Yuto thanked Saji and rushed towards Freed with 2 demonic swords. Yuto made contact with Freed, who blocked his attack and broke the demonic swords. Yuto clicked his tongue in annoyance. "So not even my holy eraser can withstand the Excaliburs, then let's try another," Yuto yelled as he created another demonic sword. "You can create more demonic swords. Are you the possessor of Swordbirth? You're guilty of having a rare sacred gear. Time to die," Freed said, smiling, waiting for Yuto to attack again. Yuto went on the attack again, and once again his sword was broken. "Normal demonic swords can't challenge my Excalibur," Freed said, laughing. Yuto created more demonic swords and kept on attacking, but Freed kept on breaking them. Freed smiled with mad glee as Yuto glared at him. Yuto created another demonic sword and went after Freed again. This time he used his Swordbirth to have demonic swords appear around Freed's feet. Freed slashed at the swords that kept on appearing around him. Freed destroyed the swords around him and broke the sword in Yuto's hand. He was about to strike at Yuto when he felt his strength leave him. His leg pulled from under him and fell on his face. He looked down and saw the line attached to his leg leading towards Saji's arm. "Hey, get this of me," Freed yelled as he tried to hack the tongue of his leg with no luck. "How do you like it? My sacred gear will drain your power until you lose consciousness as long as it's connected to you. Kiba, hurry and defeat this guy. The problem with Excalibur can come after," Saji yelled. "Ha ha 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 ha." Freed started laughing maniacally. "I'm stronger than all of you. If you kill me you won't have any holy sword battle to satisfy you." Yuto got pissed of even more. He was about to attack Freed again but heard a voice coming from inside the warehouse. "Swordbirth. It's a sacred gear that can have an infinite number of powers depending on its possessor." Everyone looked at the direction of the voice and saw a short, hefty old man wearing priest clothes walking out the warehouse. "Is that you, old man Balba?" Freed shouted. Yuto stopped in his tracks when he heard the name of Freed's accomplice. Everyone saw the anger in him rose as he glared at Balba Galilei. "Balba Galilei," Yuto shouted with hatred in his voice. "I certainly am," he replied nonchalantly before talking to Freed. "Freed, what are you doing? I can't get away. This guy's weird lizard tongue is holding me back. Use the element I gave you, and run it from your body to the blade of the holy sword, then you'll be able to cut it," Balba told him. Freed's holy sword had started to gather an aura, then glowed. "I like this, I like it a lot." Freed smiled gleefully as he swung his sword and cut the tongue that was attached to his leg. "I will be escaping now. The next time we meet will be at our ultimate battle," Freed yelled and turned around to leave. "I won't let you escape," Zenobia shouted as she ran past the devils, her blade meeting Freed's blade. "Hey guys, we're here," Irina told them, standing next to Kaniko. "How did you find us?" Saji asked. "I called them," Kaniko answered. Freed and Zenobia was in a standoff staring at each other. Freed sells in. "Balba Galilei, traitors, I will cut you down in the name of God," Zenobia shouted at them. "Don't say the name of the hateful God, you bitch," Freed snapped at her. Zenobia and Freed clashed swords, but Freed took something out of his pocket and threw it on the ground. "Hey old man, we are escaping. We need to report to boss man Kokabiel that the devils and church are working together," Freed shouted. "Yes, you're right," Balba replied. Bang, it was a flashbang and everyone was blinded. "We won't let you escape. Irina, let's go," Zenobia shouted as she and Irina took off running. "I'm going after them as well. I won't let you escape, Balba Galilei," Yuto shouted, running after them. Kaniko, Middlet, Rainier, and Saji was about to chase after them when 3 magic circles appeared in front of them. Saji, Sona shouted his name, causing her pawn to look at his master with fear in his eyes. "Kaniko, what are you up doing?" Rias asked her Rook. "Hello girls." Issei smiled at his 2 pawns. They all were currently inside the warehouse, the masters looking down on their servants currently sitting in the Caesar position. Seriously, trying to destroy the Excalibur's what has got into you, and Saji, why haven't you reported in like you were supposed to, Sona lectured. I'm sorry Kaichu, but she kept on dragging me along, I couldn't escape, he replied with fear in his eyes. Did you wear those priest clothes? Yes. Did you dress in front of the girls? No. Then why didn't you escape when you were alone? How troublesome can you be? Sona continued to lecture her pawn. It seems you need to be disciplined. Bend over. You'll be receiving 1,000 spanking on your bottom, Sona told him with a magic circle covering her hand. I'm sorry Kaichu, Saji was receiving his punishment while Rias was talking to Kaneko. So Yuto went after that person called Balba, Rias asked. Yes, he's with Irina and Xenovia, he's gonna call us if something happens, Kaneko told her. Do you think he's gonna call us in the state of mind he's in right now? Kaneko was quiet looking at the ground. Well Kaneko, answer me. Yes. Why would you do something like this? I don't want him to go away. Saying this when it has already happened won't change anything. What you four did could have affected the world of devils, do you understand? I'm sorry Bushu, Kaneko replied facing the ground. Slap slap, the sound of Saji being spanked echoed in the warehouse. I sent my familiar to look for Yuto. Let's go to him with the rest of the club members when he's found and decide what to do from there, okay? Yes, Rias pulled her into a hug and stroked her head. You really are a stupid child, making me worry so much, Rias told her. Issei walked towards both his pawns and caressed their faces. You two should have asked me to promote you. I know you have hatred for Kokabiel, but don't do this on your own, he told them. Yes, we won't do something like this again, Rainier replied, embracing him back. Yes, thank you for your forgiveness and understanding, Middle also replied while embracing her master. Kaichu, they're not getting punished. Why am I the only one getting punished? Saji screamed with tears in his eyes. They deal with things their own way, and we handle things our own way. Now Chiat complaining, 973 more to go, Sona replied. Now Kaneko, show me your bottom, you'll also be receiving punishment, Rias told her Rook. Kaneko bent over ready to receive her punishment, but someone stepped in to save her. Rias, Issei started. Since this was my pawn's idea, I think you should punish me instead, Issei told her. What do you mean? You're also a king, the first can't punish you, Rias replied. Since I declared that my father served the house of Gremory and said I'll also serve the house of Gremory, my servant's action are a reflection of my own, so as the heir to Thr Gremory name you have the right to punish me instead, Issei told her as he took Kaneko's place to be spanked.
Mittelt and Rainier wanted to take his place to be punished instead, but he stopped them, and Kaneko mouthed her thanks to him.
Hyodo residence. Asia was currently in her room with a contemplating on what to do. She was told by her friend Ika Kiryu on how to make Issei happy, but she wasn't sure on what to wear though until she heard a knock on her door which startled her. Asia, I'm coming in, Mrs. Hyodo told her as she opened the door. When she opened the door, there stood Asia wearing an apron and only an apron. Asia, Kala told me you took all the aprons, what on earth are you doing? She asked the blonde girl standing in front of her, shaking nervously. Well, I wanted to thank Eyes for all he has done for me, and a friend from school told me to wear something like this and he'll be happy. I see. Do you have feelings for my son? Yes, I want to be with him forever. Do all you girls feel the same way? Without him we all wouldn't be here today. She smiled with her eyes closed and hands clasped over her chest. You're planning on making the first move. I applaud you for that, Mrs. Hyodo told her. Ever since met you and the other girls, I can tell that you have the purest heart and an innocent nature, so I'll help you. With that said, Mrs. Hyodo helped Asia pick out an apron. And since one of you girls will be marrying him, I want you all to start calling me mother, Mrs. Hyodo also added with a smile. Issei along with Rias, Rainier and Middle entered his house after walking from the warehouse. Saji left with Sona and Tsubaki, and Akeno went home with Kaneko to calm her down. Asia peeked around the corner when she heard the door opened. She saw that Issei has returned. She smiled but was still nervous of standing in front of him. Get out there, Mrs. Hyodo told her while pushing her out from hiding behind the corner. Asia stood in front of everyone wearing only a white apron with frilly laces on its border, twiddling her fingers together trying to say something. Asia, why are you wearing something like that? Issei asked with a look of confusion on his face. A friend in our class told me that the best way to make you happy was to dress like this while I make you dinner, so I waited until you return so I can serve you, even if it's embarrassing, she told him with a curtsy. Issei walked towards her and cupped her face with the palm of her hand and a smile on his face. As long as I can see a smile on your beautiful face I'll be happy, he told her, causing a blush to appear on her face to match the color of Rias' hair. Ahem, Rias faked cough. I see you've made the first move. If only I thought of this first, Rainier said out loud, smiling seductively. Asia, who told you to wear something like this? Rias asked. It was Kiryu. She even told me not to wear underwear and it's a bit cold, Asia answered. Of course that girl is as perverted as the perverted doe, Issei chimed in. Doesn't she look cute? I remember wearing something like this for my husband, Mrs. Hyodo told them from the corner. Mom, I didn't want to hear that, he told her. I see, so this is also a way to win. Mrs. Hyodo, I would like one please, Rias spoke up. We would like to wear one as well, Rainier and Middle told her together. Sure thing ladies, follow me, Mrs. Hyodo told them. As they walked past Issei and Asia they all told her what they thought of her victory over them. Asia, you can become a succubus, you really are a lecherous girl, Rias told her. If you were a fallen angel I'm sure you would have many men falling at your feet, Rainier told her. You may have won this time, but it's not over yet, Middle told her. I don't want to be a lecherous girl with men falling at my feet, Asia told him, almost crying. It's okay, that will never happen to you, he told her, comforting her. Asia was about to leave when Issei stopped her, holding her hand in his. Asia, I know you might be worried about the churchgoers in town as well as the return of Fried, but I won't ever let anyone hurt you or the others. I'll destroy anyone and anything that tries to harm those I hold dear, Issei told her. I don't regret becoming your servant. I also haven't forgotten my faith in God, but I gained something more important than my feelings to God, she told him. Something important, what is it? He asked her. She looked at him with a smile on her face and replied, you, your parents, everyone in the clubroom, Rainier, Middle, Calawarner, the friends at school, everyone is important to me. I don't want to lose them. I don't want to be alone anymore. Her voice trembled as she told him what was in her heart. Asia, you'll never be alone. You're part of my family and we'll be together for a very long time, so smile for me. A smile suits you best, he told her. I'm glad that I got sent to this country and I'm glad I met you, she told him, hugging him with her face in his chest. Issei hugged her back, his hand moving down her naked back, and stopped himself before touching her butt. He released her and watched as she went into the kitchen with the other girls. Issei's father returned from meeting some friends to a sight he only dreamed about in his fantasies. In the kitchen were 5 girls wearing nothing but aprons preparing dinner. He was about to sit at the dining table next to his son, but his wife put a stop to that. Come dear, let us old folks stay out of the way of the young ones. We'll have dinner in our room tonight, she told her husband, pulling his ear. Eyes make your dad proud. Fulfill my dreams, he yelled to his son as he was being dragged away by his wife. That night after dinner and the girls sneaked into Issei's room one by one. The next morning they told him that they missed holding on to him. It's already been 2 days since the warehouse incident, and Yuto along with the 2 exorcists has not been seen. Forest surrounding Irina was held against a tree, defeated by Fried, her sword out of reach. She now regretted the fact that she didn't call for backup when she encountered the mad priest. Now then, what shall I do with you? I can make you my wife and have children, Fried teased as he trailed her body with his sword from waist to neck. I'd rather die than be your wife, Irina snapped at him. I think you'll need to be alive to have children, but I'll still play with your body, he told her with the blade of his sword at her neck. Irina was disgusted at his statement and waited for her death, but saw that it was not today, as she saw someone speaking to Fried using a magic circle. It seems that the boss wants to use you for his plans, so I'll kill you later, Fried told her before knocking her out and taking her and her sword with him. Hyodo residence. It was after 2 a.m. when Issei awoken from his slumber as he felt a strong presence outside getting close to his home. As it got closer, the other supernatural entities living with him felt it as well and rushed into him as he was about to head to the roof using the elevator. They all joined him. Upon arriving at the roof, Issei immediately saw the one he felt. Rainier, Middle and Calawarner face turn into hatred as they saw who it was that came to them. Kokabiel, Calawarner spat out his name. To see the ones who tainted their blood with that of a devil disgust me to no end, he said as he looked at Rias. This is our first time meeting, daughter of the Gremory house. The color of your hair reminds me of your brother that I hate so much it makes me want to vomit, he told with an angry tone in her voice. Kokabiel, what do I owe the pleasure of a former leader to the fallen angels? She asked politely. I came to give you a gift. As he said that, Irina appeared in front of him through a magic circle. He grabbed her by the throat. She was attempting to break free but failed and grew weak from her attempts. Kokabiel continued talking. She has given us another holy sword, now our plans can proceed. Balba and Fried are already at your school waiting for my arrival, but before I go, he stabbed Irina in the heart, catch. He threw Irina towards them and flew towards the school. Kalawarner and Rainier caught Irina and brought her towards Issei. He laid her down. He knew she was dead and he was saddened at the loss of his childhood friend but knew that he could revive her. Rias, I think you should head towards the school. Kalawarner, Rainier, Middlet, go with her. Back her up and follow her orders as they were my own. He told them. They were about to leave but he told them one more thing. I authorize your promotion and the use of your full power. Hold nothing back. They knew that he was angry. If he's allowing them to go all out, they knew they would reveal everything towards Rias and Sona along with their peerages. Promotion queen. They both said and felt the increase the surge of power, and teleported to the school along with Kalawarner and Rias. Issei took Irina all the way down to his room hoping that he wasn't too late. He pulled out the rest of pieces and tried to find the right one for her. The ace of pawn glowed. He then pulled out the Dedreg's gauntlet. Asia looked on as she saw Issei revived his childhood friend and gave her the gauntlet. She liked how the wings on his back was out. She hadn't seen his full wings in so long. She smiled at the sight. Irina opened her eyes for a brief moment before her eyes closed on more time. Issei already knew that was alive once more as he saw her breathing and felt the power within her slowly increasing. He stayed with her as Asia went to some water. Academy. Rias, me and my peerage has covered the school with a barrier. Unless something disastrous happens to destroy it, no one outside will be aware of what's going on, Sona told her. We want this to be kept at a minimum. We don't know his objective, but if he releases his power the whole region would be destroyed. Yes, he told us that his two subordinates are already working on something, Rias told them. Yes, they are covered in a barrier with the holy swords. I don't know what he's doing, but the magic keeps on building up. Thank you, Sona, we'll take it from here. Where is Issei Hyodo? I see his servants but not him. Kokabiel killed his childhood friend. My best guess is he's gonna revive her. Rias, our enemy, is a monster with strength above ours. We need all the help we can. It's still not too late to call your brother. Well, we also can call your sister. My sister is. Your brother loves you and will definitely make a move. I have already informed Cerberus-sama, Akano told them. Akano, Rias yelled at her. Rias, I know that you don't want to cause problems for Cerberus-sama. It happened at your base in your territory and it happened right after that family problem. But as your queen I made the call to borrow the strength of a Mao. Now that an enemy of this caliber appears, Akano told her. Yes, you're right, Akano. Thank you for making that call. How long will it be until they arrive? Rias asked. Thank you for understanding. The reinforcement will be here within the hour. I see we have to try and keep him busy for 1 hour. Everyone, this may turn into a battle of life and death, but we have to stay alive until the reinforces arrive and continue attending school, she told everyone and watched as they all responded with a nod. Rias and her peerage along with the members of Issei's peerage that came with her entered the barrier. The first thing they noticed was the extreme light emanating from within the barrier and 4 swords hovering above the ground. Upon closer inspection, a magic circle could be seen under each sword and Fried Selzen was standing next to Balba Galilei. What are you doing? Rias asked. I'm going to make 4 swords into 1, he said smiling. Balba, how much longer will it take for the Excaliburs to merge? Everyone looked upwards and saw Kokabiel sitting in a floating chair with his 10 wings out and the moon at his back. It will take 5 minutes, Kokabiel, Balba answered. Tell me, Kokabiel, what is your plan? Why have you come here? Rias asked. I will be rampaging in this town using your base as a starting point. Then your brother will also appear, right? He told her. If you do something like that, a war might start again. That's what I'm wishing for. I thought that Michael would start a war if I stole the Excaliburs, but what he sent were grunt exorcists and 2 holy sword wielders. It's boring. That's why I'm going to have fun and rampage at Cerberus' sister's base. You're a battle maniac. Yes, I am. After the Great War, Azazel and Shemazai weren't keen on starting the next one. They started collecting those sacred gears and doing weird research. Those things are of no use to us, unless they are the boosted gear and the twilight healing. Sorry, our new master took your toys away, Kalawarner answered angrily. Eyes has the boosted gear? Rias asked in shock. Yes, he planned to insert it into a strong enough servant, Rainier answered. For you 3 who didn't want to join my ranks, I have someone for you. He snapped his fingers and a figure appeared from a magic circle. Donna Seek, Rainier said as she glared at the newcomer. It's been a while, my 3 former associates, he smiled menacingly at them. We will destroy you, Kalawarner told him as she and her 2 friends prepared light spears. After that dragon friend of yours injured me, I returned to Lord Kokabiel ashamed of my failure, and he trained me harder than I ever trained before. As he said that 6 wings appeared on his back, he looked at them hoping they would fear him, but saw they were smiling. You think you're the only one who's been training. You and Kokabiel are nowhere near the level of our master. And now he told us to unleash our full power. You stand no chance, Rainier told him, also revealing her wings. Flashback. Come on, you girls can do better, Issei told his peerage as they were currently in his underground training room. I can tell your powers are about to increase. Keep attacking me, don't let up. Issei kept on dodging their attacks and attacking them with his own. The 4 of them felt weak as their magic were depleting slowly, but knew they had to continue their attacks on him. Issei wasn't letting his attacks die down as he hammered them with fire attacks one after another until he felt a sudden surge of power coming from all 4 of them simultaneously. He expected it to be one at a time, but not all together. Middle was the first to show the surge of power as her wings appeared behind her and gained an extra pair for each of her wings. She was followed by Rainier, then Calawarner, and then Asia. He decided to attack them one more time to see their worth and was surprised. Asia's barrier was still green, but what appeared was not her standard barrier. It was a barrier of fire with small wisp of flames healing her and the others within her barrier. Rainier, Calawarner, and Middle looked at the new appearance of their light spears. The light spears they held appeared to be on flames. They felt the power within them flow into the spears as they began another attack on Issei. After the attack, Issei called of the training so they can rest. They all fell on the ground as the burst of power left them. They looked up to see Issei standing in front of them. Good job, all of you. I'm proud that you unlocked your second pair of wings, but I never expected all 4 of you to achieve it simultaneously. Rest and regain your strength and stamina. I'll prepare a meal for everyone. Flashback end. Rias and her peerage were speechless, not at the amount of wings on her back, but at the white wings opposite her black wings, and saw that the other 2 had the same wings. Our master Issei is part angel, and thanks to his uncle we also have the pure wings of an angel, Rainier told them. Issei will explain this to you, Calawarner told Rias, who replied with a nod. Kokabiel stared in disgust as he looked down on those below him, the devils and now the former fallen angels, not only part devil and dragon that he heard from Donna Seek but also part angel. He immediately remembered his wings before the fall, and looking at their white wings infuriated him even more. Doesn't matter what you or your master are, I'm gonna start the battle involving the holy swords, and the sisters of Cerberus and Leviathan. This area must be filled with demonic energy considering you both are in charge of this area, and a good place to release the power of the Excaliburs. I'll enjoy the chaos of the battlefield once again. Kokabiel started laughing maniacally. Isn't my boss great? When the war starts I'll get to kill a lot. It will be fun, I can't wait, Fried told them with a hysterical laugh. So tell me, is Cerberus coming or is it Serafal? Kokabiel asked. In the places of Serafal Sama and my brother. We are. Rias started but was cut off when Kokabiel threw a light spear that destroyed the gym. Boring. Well, that's fine, you can entertain me. I'll have you fight my pets that I brought from hell, he told them and snapped his fingers. A magic circle appeared under Kokabiel and the ground shook as a creature stepped out the magic circle. It was 10 meters tall with a large body and 4 thick legs with claws. It had 3 heads with blood-red eyes. Everyone gasped at the creature that appeared before them. The guard dog of hell, Cerberus, Rias said out loud with shock in her voice. It lives in the gates of hell, but to bring it to the human world is madness. Rainier, Middle, Calawarner, you handle your former ally over there. We'll hand the Cerberus. She gave them the order and everyone went on the offensive. Rainier, Middle, and Calawarner faced Donna Seek. Even if you're 6-winged, it's still 3-on-1 and we'll gladly repay you for what you did to us, Rainier told him as she prepared her flaming light spear along with Calawarner and Middle. Calawarner rushed at him with her light spear in hand. Donna Seek prepared for her but she flew up and threw her light spear at him. He went into the air to avoid being hit but was met by another light spear thrown by Middle. He moved to his left in an attempt to dodge but was too slow and was cut deep on his cheek. Donna Seek scowled while his former captives smiled. He flew straight to Rainier. She threw a light spears at him but he dodged them all. He was about to grab her neck but she used her wind magic to blow him back. Calawarner used this opportunity to give him a punch, sending him straight to the ground, having Middle using her earth magic to trap him in the ground. Rias, Akeno and Kaneko were currently engaged with the guard dog of hell. Rias and her queen took the skies while her rook stayed on the ground. Akeno attacked first, sending a lighting at one of the Cerberus head. Another head released a fireball. Rias intercepted the fireball with her powers of destruction, destroying the fireball. Kaneko went straight for the middle head and gave it a powerful punch. "Sit doggy," Kaneko said in a monotone voice. The Cerberus made a loud growl as it spat out multiple fireballs from each head, then one of the heads looked towards Rias and breathed out fire. Akeno stood in front of her king and froze the flame. Rias moved from behind Akeno and released in her demonic power. The beast turned its heads and released another fireball. Both powers clashed, but another fireball was behind the first one and caught Rias and Akeno off guard. They both dodged the attack. Cerberus was about to attack one more time when opening, Kaneko said as she delivered a front somersault kick to its head, causing the fireball to explode in its mouth. "Take this as well," Akeno yelled as she created lightning in the sky and pointed her fingers towards the Cerberus, having the lightning following the path of her fingers. The Cerberus was surrounded by a violent lightning storm, and Rias hit it with her demonic power. The beast back was scarred. Her power of destruction did little damage. Rias thought the three-headed dog didn't receive any significant damage until blood came from the scarred back of the Cerberus. The Cerberus didn't react to the damage it received. It released another fireball at the two devils and jumped backwards. The Cerberus howled loudly and another magic circle appeared next to the beast and revealed another Cerberus. The first Cerberus shot more fireballs at Rias and Akeno, while the second Cerberus chased after Kaneko, who found herself at a disadvantage. The Cerberus had her cornered. She turned to face the guard dog of hell and prepared for the worst, but was saved as two figures ran by her and cut off one of its head. "Sorry I'm late. It took me a while to figure out that they came here and I ran into Xenovia on the way here," Yuto told her, now standing at her side with sword in hand. "Yes, I have come to back you up," Xenovia told them and went to slash at the torso of the Cerberus. The Cerberus howled in pain as it was split in half and vaporized after getting in contact with the holy sword. The second Cerberus lay dying in front of them and Xenovia went and stabbed the beast in its heart to finish it off. The Cerberus turned to dust and was no more. The first Cerberus was spewing flames and fireballs at Rias and Akeno. Yuto used his sacred gear and created multiple swords, giving the Cerberus multiple stabs in its stomach, immobilizing the beast. Akeno used this opportunity to attack with multiple lightning strikes. Yuto also dashed at the Cerberus, cutting a head off, and Rias using more magical energy than she ever used before and sent a powerful power of destruction attack and destroyed the Cerberus. Akeno went to assist guard her king. She knew that Rias used an enormous amount of magic and needed time to replenish her magical reserve. "It's finish. Freed, take the newly forged Excalibur," Balba told his partner. "What is going on?" Xenovia asked, confused. "He merged the 4 Excaliburs into one," Kaneko answered. 4. "Did they get Irina's? Where is she?" she asked them with a worried tone. "Shesh. She's with eyes getting healed," Rias answered hesitantly. Freed held the sword and the magic circle started to give off a bright pulsating light that was slowly getting brighter. "Now that the Excaliburs have merged, the residual magic will increase for the next 20 minutes and this town will be destroyed. The only way to stop it is if you defeat Kokabiel," Balba told them, smiling. "Freed," Kokabiel called out. "Use the combined Excalibur and destroy the devils and that exorcist. You'll be my last entertainment," Kokabiel said out loud. Yeah, geez, my boss sure uses people, but I get to use this new Excalibur. I'm so honored. It's like I became a super priest that can kill any devil. You'll be first," he told them, pointing the sword at Yuto with an insane smile. "Knight of Gremory, is our cooperation still valid to destroy that Excalibur together?" Xenovia asked. "Yes, it is, if it's okay with you," Yuto answered. "As long as I can collect the core fragments of the Excalibur, it's okay," Xenovia told him. Balba Galilei. "I am a survivor of the Holy Sword Project. No, I was killed by you, to be more precise. I continued living by being reincarnated into a devil," Kiba told him with eyes filled with flames of hatred. "To meet the survivor of that project in a Far East country like this. It feels like fate," he started laughing. "You see, I like holy swords. I like them so much that I dreamed about them. I fell in love with the legend of Excalibur when I was a child, but when I found out I can't use Excalibur, I went into despair. I held admiration for those who can wield it because I couldn't. That's why I started the experiment, and it was completed thanks to you and the others," Balba told him nonchalantly. "Complete? You disposed of us for being a failure," Yuto yelled at him. "Yes. I found out that the best way for someone to wield an Excalibur was to take out the holy element from weaker candidates and implant it within stronger candidates," Balba told them. "I see. The thing they put inside the holy sword wielder when they received a blessing is the holy element from others," Xenovia said with a shocked voice. "That's right, girl. We take the holy element and crystallize it like this one," he told them as he took out an orb that gave off a green glow. Balba, how many have you sacrificed for your greed and experiments? Yuto snapped at him. If you say it like that, take this, it's from your comrades. My research has evolved where I can mass produce them in the right environment. We'll destroy this town first and collect the remaining holy swords around the world and mass produce holy sword wielders and start the next war at Kokabiel's side. Balba started laughing menacingly after he said that. Everyone, Yuto started crying on knees with the orb in his hands. I always thought that it wasn't right that I'm the only one that survived. There were those who had bigger and better dreams than me. Was it all right that I am the only one to have a peaceful life? The orb started to glow and spirits of children started to appear around Yuto and started to talk to him. It's okay. Don't worry about us anymore. You are alive at least. We were never good alone. We didn't have enough holy element to wield the holy swords, but it will be okay if we are together so you can wield them. Accept everything, you'll do what we couldn't. Accept the holy swords, and accept God, our hearts will be one. They told Yuto before starting to sing a sacred song. You're right, Yuto said as he got up off his knees. I accept everything, even that which I hated. The spirits of the children slowly started to enter Yuto's body. Balance break. Sword of the Betrayer, Yuto said as a silver and black sword appear in his hand with runes running in the center of the blade. Balba Galilei, as long as I don't kill you, there will be those who would suffer at your hands. Research always come with sacrifices, haven't you realized that yet? I will become a sword, Yuto said as he went at Balba but was blocked by Freed. Not so fast, pretty boy. I'll defeat you with my shiny new Excalibur, Freed said as he started to fight with Yuto. Freed was attacking but not making any advances. Both of them was moving at high speed. The holy aura from the Excalibur was slowly fading away with every clash of both swords. That sword is surpassing my holy sword, Freed said with a shocked tone. If it was the true Excalibur, then there's no way I would have won against it, Yuto told him. The Excalibur started to change shape, but that didn't Yuto's attack. The Excalibur started to glow again. This time Freed's speed increased and Yuto increased his speed as well, blocking all of Freed's attack. The Excalibur glowed again. This time the blade disappeared. Even though Yuto couldn't see the sword, Freed's stance and attack pattern didn't change and Yuto blocked his attack and gave him a cut on his left arm. Come on, you're supposed to be the great Excalibur. Why aren't you winning? Freed yelled at his sword. Hold him there like that, Zenobia told Yuto and slammed her Excalibur destruction into the ground. Saint Peter, Saint Basil the Great, Saint Denis, Holy Mother Mary, please hear my voice, Zenobia chanted and placed her hand in the distorted space that appeared next to her and pulled out a new sword that gave of a holy aura. In the name of the saints whom reside within this blade, I will release it. Durandal, Zenobia said as she held the new holy sword held with both hands. You were not the wielder of the Excalibur, Balba said with astonishment. Wrong. I was originally the wielder of Durandal. I was chosen as the holder of the Excalibur as well. Absurd. According to my research, we haven't reached the stage where someone can wield Durandal. Not even the Vatican have made someone who can wield Durandal, so tell me why. Unlike those common artificial holy sword wielders like Irina, I'm a natural-born wielder, Zenobia told Balba, leaving him speechless. Durandal is a sword that ravages beyond what people can imagine. It cuts anything it touches. I don't have full control of it, that's why I have to keep it in another dimension, Zenobia told them. The Durandal blade began releasing more holy aura than the Excalibur Freed held. That's not allowed. This is cheating. I don't like you, you bitch, Freed yelled at Zenobia. Zenobia went on to attack Freed and Yuto immediately jumped out of the way. Freed went to attack Zenobia but failed as both swords clashed. The Excalibur was broken by the Durandal and began to weaken. Freed went into attack and Yuto destroyed the remaining blade that Freed held in his hand. The sword shattered and laid around them. No. This can't be right. Someone reset this game. I had the powerful Excalibur. How could I lose? This isn't fair. I demand a do-over. Freed began complaining and Yuto went in for the kill, striking at Freed and cut him across the chest. Donna Seek had escaped the trap that he was in and was now facing the Issei's servant in an aerial battle. He was slowly losing ground but noticed that the three he faced was also losing strength. He decided to try his lightning attack but that failed as Middle called up a barrier. Calawarner and Rainier combined their water and wind magic and sent Donna Seek to spin in a tornado-like vortex. Middle went above the opening and saw Donna Seek attempting to fly out. She immediately called upon her light spear and impaled him in the stomach, sending him to the ground. All three females stood over his body as he spat blood out of his mouth and sent more light spears at him, killing him for good. Hyodo residence. Irina opened her eyes weakened and saw white wings. Am I in heaven? She asked. No, I'm sorry Irina, I didn't want to lose a precious friend, so I reincarnated you as my servant, Issei told her. But your wings, I thought you were part devil. I'll tell you everything after you've rested sleep. The transformation has left you weak. Asia will stay with you while I go handle something. After telling her that, he placed his hand over her using magic to put her back to sleep. Asia, I'm going to the school, please watch over her for me. I've placed a sleep spell on her and my parents, they won't wake up for a while. Issei turned to leave but Asia stopped him with a hug. Please be careful, and bring everyone back, she told him. Issei patted her head and left for his house for the school. On his way there he sensed someone looking at the barrier. A young male a few years older than him with dark silver hair, blue eyes, wearing a green V-neck t-shirt under a black jacket with blue jeans with a chain drooping of the belt loop. Issei flew next to the young man and started talking. Are you an associate of Kokabiel? Issei asked, keeping his anger in check. No, I was sent here to retrieve him, but decided to give them a chance, but it appears they won't win, he told him. I see, then will you give me a minute to talk to Kokabiel? You better hurry, it seems that magic circle will destroy this town if no one stops him.
Issei was about to leave but sensed something else coming from the young man.
You smell like a dragon. Who are you really? The young man was surprised at this. He never met anyone who could sense that about him at first meeting. He decided to introduce himself. My name is Vali Lucifer, the White Dragon Emperor. Issei smiled at this before continuing. It's a pleasure to meet you. I heard about you, but never expected the White Dragon Emperor would also be a descendant of Lucifer, the holder of Diedrich. Will have a tough fight. Do you know where my rival is? Tell me, Vali demanded. Your rival don't know about Diedrich yet, but you will meet soon, Issei told Vali. Vali wanted to ask more but Issei flew away towards the barrier. Issei landed in front of the barrier next to Sona and her peerage. He was about to enter but decided to wait and saw everything that went down. Yuto gaining his balance breaker and his 3 members defeating Donna Seek, but it was the current conversation that he was listening to. Issei is one of the 4 requests. I'm claiming one now. Help us stop distract Kokabiel until the reinforcements from the underworld arrive, Sona asked Issei upon his arrival. Sona, I won't be distracting him, I will destroy him, but first I want to hear what they are saying, Issei told her. Sona knew he was strong but wasn't sure if he was strong enough to take on a fallen angel of Kokabiel caliber, and only had his word as she maintained the barrier and listened in as well. Inside the barrier, a sword with both holy and demonic powers, 2 opposites that should not merge. Balba started talking to himself out loud. Balba, prepare yourself, Kiba yelled, pointing his sword at him. I see, I finally understand now. Holy and demonic, the only reason they can merge is because not only the original Satans but also God has. Balba was cut off as a light spear went straight through his chest. Balba, indeed you were magnificent. The reason you figured out that was proof, Kokabiel said. Rest up, gather your strength, I will be your final opponent. I will face you all in combat, Kokabiel yelled at everyone in the barrier. Akeno was the first to attack with lightning. Kokabiel just put his hand up and swatted the lightning away. You must be the half-blooded daughter of Barakiel. Your power is not as strong as his, he told Akeno. Don't say that despicable name in my presence. Akeno yelled at him with hatred and sent another lightning attack at him. Kokabiel used his wings to deflect the attack. Rias sent a massive wave of destruction at Kokabiel, but that also proved ineffective. Is that the best the sister of the Crimson Satan can do? He said, laughing at Rias' attack. Kokabiel, in the name of God I shall strike you down, Xenovia yelled at him, then went on the attack. Kokabiel flapped his wings. Xenovia attempted to cut through the wind from his wings but failed and was sent flying to the ground. If you had complete control over that sword you would have reached me, but it appears you are still a novice, and how can you worship a god that is deceased? Kokabiel told Xenovia. What lies are saying? Xenovia snapped at him. Oh, it appears your superiors never told you. I'm starting another war, so I might as well tell you. During the Great War not only the 7 princes of the underworld died but so did our god, he told them. Xenovia fell to her knees in disbelief. She couldn't believe what she heard. She was trying to find a fault in what he was saying, but he continued speaking even more. Michael has sure done a good job answering prayers and miracles, but he is not strong as God, so mistakes happen. Like a sister healing a devil or a sword that contain the properties of both holy and demonic powers can be created, he told them. And now you have fallen into my trap like those angels that were under Gabriel during the Great War. I found out about their movement, and instead of sending my troops to ambush them I let it leak to the devils from the house of Marquis Naberius. Why send my own troops when I can have devils and angels kill each other? Now you all will die. He shouted and started to laugh at them as he got off his throne and stood in the air. Outside the barrier, Issei heard everything. The one who leaked the whereabouts of his mother's garrison and got her killed was within his reach. First his mother and now his childhood friend. The aura that he was releasing was of pure hate. He let out all his wings. Sona looked on in shock. She had already saw the wings of his peerage, but looking at his was another story. Sona, I'm going in, he told her. She didn't say anything, she just watched as he entered the barrier.
Issei glared straight at Kokabiel. Everyone felt his aura as he entered the barrier. Rainier, Calawarner and Mittelt was smiling but changed into a solemn look when they saw how angry he was. Rias and her peerage had no words to say as they stared at Issei. Zenobia was on the ground defeated, holding onto the Durandal. Kokabiel felt his aura and turned to see who entered the barrier and put on a smug smile before speaking.
It appears that the one who changed those traitors decided to turn up. I must say I never expected you to come here. How is that friend of yours? I'm sure th.
Hey guys,
Kokabiel was
welcome
cut
to my
off as
channel. As
Issei
you can
flew
see the
next to him
thumbnail,
with
what if Issei
unbelievable
was the true
speed and
Crimson
punched him
Dragon Emperor
straight to the
Part 1.
ground,
Before I
creating a
start,
huge
please do
crater
support
with
for more
Kokabiel
awesome
at the
content
center.
and subscribe to my channel and also
Kokabiel
watch
coughed as
previous
he got
stories.
up
Let's
and
start
began
the
to
video.
speak in anger.
At an apartment,
To think a mongrel like you to
a
do
young
this to
man
me.
around 17
This is what
to
I missed
18
from the
years old
Great
with
War.
slightly
Come let
spiky
us
hair and
fight,
brown eyes
he
yawned
yelled
as if he
loudly.
just woke up from his sleep.
Issei went over
He
to
was wearing an
Zenobia and
open
pulled the
school
Durandal
uniform
as
which
he
is a
went for
black blazer
Kokabiel.
over a white,
At
long-sleeved dress
first the
shirt with
sword
black
was
highlights
heavy in
with a
his
black
hand
ribbon
as
on
he
the
dragged
collar
it
and a
behind
red
him, walking
t-shirt
towards
underneath.
Kokabiel.
He wears a
Issei
pair of
poured his
matching
holy
black
aura
pants
into
and a
the
black and
sword and
red
began to
sneakers
get
which goes
lighter and
pretty well
lighter.
with his uniforms.
Kokabiel threw light
He
spears
walks
at him,
towards
but
the door and
Issei
stops
used the
in front of
Durandal
it.
to parry
Knock
each
knock
thrown
knock.
light
Asia,
spear
are you
not
awake
only
yet?
away
We're going
from
to be
him, but
late. He
also
called
from
up a
those
girl's
within the
name as he
barrier
was
and
knocking
those
at the door.
outside as well. The light
Thud,
spears that he
Issei-san,
deflected
I'm
with the
awake.
Durandal
Please give
either
me a minute.
destroyed
A
parts
reply
of the
was given
school
out
or went
after
into
cute
the
scream
air
and a
through the
sound of
barrier.
someone falling off the bed were
Zenobia
heard.
couldn't believe that
Chuckled the
someone
boy
else was
named Issei
handling her
chuckled as he
sword
can
better than
imagine
her.
what has happened
Rias and her
behind the door.
peerage was in awe as Issei
Hurry
was
up and
going
come
toe to
down
toe
soon.
with a
Breakfast
fallen
is
angel
ready,
that
he said as he
survived the
walked
Great
away
War.
from the door without waiting for a
Issei got in
reply.
close of Kokabiel
At the
with
kitchen,
the
the
sword
young
ready to
man was
strike.
sitting in the dining room,
Kokabiel
waiting for the
created a
girl
light
who lives
spear
with
and
him to
attempted
come
to
down.
strike
His
down
eyes were
Issei
closed
as
as
he
if
got
he
in
was
close.
meditating. He then
Issei
opened his
dodged the
eyes when
light
he
spear
heard
and
someone
moved
running
behind
towards the dining
Kokabiel
room.
and brought the sword in a
Thud
downward
thud,
slash and cut
Issei-san,
off his
I'm sorry
wings.
for oversleeping. The girl
Kokabiel
apologized to
screamed in
Issei
pain
as she
as he
sat down
placed
on the
his hand
opposite side
behind
of the
him
young
and felt
man.
blood where his wings
Standing
once
in front
was.
of him was a young girl around
Kokabiel
15 to
felt his
16 years
strength
old with a
leaving
long
him.
blonde hair which
Kokabiel
flows
was
all the
about to
way back
punch
to her
Issei
back
but
with a
felt a
split
sharp
bangs over
pain
her
from his
forehead and a
shoulder and
single
saw his
strand sticking
arm
out from
flying
the
in
top
the
and
air.
sloping backwards.
Issei had removed
Same
his
as the
arm.
brown-haired young man,
Kokabiel
the
fell
blonde
on
girl
his
was
knees
wearing the
weakened
same
and defeated
uniform as
all
he
his
is,
planning
except
to
hers
fail
was
at this
girl's
moment.
uniform
He
with a
looked
white
up and saw the
long-sleeved,
one who
button-down
defeated him
shirt
with
with a
looking
black
down
ribbon
at
on
him
her
with
shirt
pure
collar
hate.
worn under a black
Issei
shoulder
opened his
cape and a
hand and
matching
released a
button-down
magic
corset,
circle
a
to
magenta
cancel out
skirt
the
with white
magic circle
accents,
that
and
would have
brown dress
destroyed the
shoes over
town.
white
He
crew-length
grabbed
socks.
Kokabiel by the
It's
throat and his
okay, I
arm
know you were
turned
too
into that of a
excited about
dragon as he
enrollment to the
began
new
to
school.
choke
The
out
young
the
man
former
smiled
member
to
of
the blonde
Gregory.
girl. How
Divide
did you know?
was
The
heard by
blonde girl
everyone
named
as the
Asia
barrier
asked him
began to
timidly
fall
while she was
apart.
blushing.
I can't let you kill
Yesterday,
him.
you were
He
humming
has
all
to
night
answer
long,
for his
he told her
crimes
bluntly in a
against the
teasing
Gregory,
way.
the newcomer told Issei.
Asia blushed even
So
further
you
without
finally
knowing
showed
what to
up,
say.
White Dragon Emperor.
Ha ha
Issei
ha,
said
I
out
just
loud.
teasing Asia, let's
Everyone
hurry up and
gasped
eat
at
our
the name of
breakfast,
the
we don't
newcomer.
want to be late on our
You
first
can
day
have
of
him,
school.
Issei told him,
Hi,
throwing
Asia replied
Kokabiel
and
at his
started to
feet.
eat her breakfast.
I'll
Issei-san's
also be
cooking is
taking
so
that
good,
priest
she said
over
it as
there,
she was
he
eating her
said,
meals
pointing to
happily.
Fried who laid injured
Thank you
and
for your
passed out on the
compliment,
ground.
Issei replied happily.
Until we meet
On the way
again,
to school,
I
looks
still
like
want
you're
to know
all
about my
excited about
rival,
first
he
day of
told
school.
Issei
Ha, a
and
male
flew
voice
off.
was spoken out of nowhere.
Everyone fell on their
Oh,
butt as the
morning
crisis
Nova,
was
didn't you're
passed.
awake, the
Issei
young man
returned
answered casually.
Durandal to Zenobia, who gathered the
Nova-san,
core
good
pieces of
morning,
the
Asia
shattered
replied to the
Excaliburs
voice
along
while
with her
walking beside
Excalibur
Issei.
destruction and left.
Yay, I'm awake partner
Rias
and good
walked
morning
over
to you too
Issei
Asia.
and
I
touched
can
his
see that
white
you're very
wings.
excited about
Eyes to
attending to
see
this
you're
new
also
school.
part
The voice
angel.
which
No
belongs
wonder
to
he
Nova
didn't want
spoke
anyone
again.
to find out. Rias said as she
Asia
talked to him.
smiled nervously. Just a
But
word
we
of
won't
caution
treat
to
you
you
any
guys.
differently,
I can
and
sense
me and
devils and
Sona,
fallen
along with our
angels in this
peerages,
area.
will keep
Be
it a
aware and
secret
don't
until
let
you're
your
ready
guard
for
down.
everyone to know.
The
She told him.
brown-haired man narrowed his eyes when he
Yes,
heard those
since you
warnings feelings and sigh, thanks Nova, I smelled and sensed them when we first arrived at Quo Town. To be honest, I'm kinda surprised when I found out that there's devils and fallen angels in this place. I even smelled some devils present in Quo Academy.
Tsubasa told Issei.
Will we be okay? Asia asked Issei worriedly. Issei just smiled at her, gently rubbed the top of her head and said, don't worry, we'll try to blend in as much as we can, and if anyone tries to hurt you, I'll just blow them away.
Yes.
Thank you, Issei-san. I feel very safe when I'm with Issei-san. Asia replied happily as she enjoys the feeling of Issei's hand rubbing gently on her head.
Rias said.
You can also use my power as you want to partner. Nova spoke to Issei in his mind.
Few minutes later.
Thanks Nova, and I'm sorry I have to ask Asia to seal you up for now.
She was prepared
to battle the 10-winged
fallen angel, but was
it's
surprised
to hear
I
understood that you're just trying to have a normal life, but be careful. We both know that once the seal is off, our cover will be blown, and that means we'll attract both allies and enemies.
After she heard the report from both
they stopped at the entrance of the school, and Issei said, 2 years of studying in Quo Academy. I wonder how many things will happen.
She had one thought on her mind.
Inside a classroom, a long crimson red-haired young lady who appears to be in her late teens with light skin, blue-green eyes and a buxom figure is watching at both Issei and Asia. She continued watching.